Don't despair, my sons. I tell you now that there is more to these.
Hello, ladies and not ladies, and welcome to my channel. Hi. So if you guys did not see on my social media, I went and saw the Iron Lung movie back on Monday, and today is Wednesday. So I thought I would do a quick review of what I thought and share my thoughts. And yeah, I won't be spoiling a lot. I won't be doing a lot of like spoiling or telling you the entire plot line. I'm just gonna go over it briefly, kind of talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and what I think could have been better. But honestly, I'm a really big fan of Markiplier, and I've been watching him for a very long time. And I've seen his gameplay of the Iron Lung, but it's been a while. So before watching the movie, I actually watched a lot of YouTube videos on like the lore of Iron Lung, because for me, before watching a movie, specifically if it's relating to a game, I like to watch its playthroughs and just a summary of it, so I kind of have a better idea of what I was watching. So basically, in the movie, the way it starts off with our main character in the submarine, and it is told to us that it's welded shut. There is a small window. A lot of submarines do have window, but because of the pressure of the blood, it has to be sealed up. So like a metal shield comes on top, so the blood cannot like penetrate through it. And I thought that was like really cool, completely blinding us. And then on the sub, there's something that takes pictures. So it shows you the environment. And while watching the movie, I kind of realized that if I was put in that position, I would most likely kill myself, because I am not doing any of that. Hell, I wouldn't even try doing this shit. I Submarines already freak me out. Going deep in the water freaks me out. No way out. It's just a horror situation. And then it kind of reminds me of like Ocean Gate, where those five billionaires went down into the water to go see the Titanic. And when watching the documentaries and some of the videos, you learn that because of the way the submarine was built, it had to be welded shut. So there's like no doors you can get out of, which is kind of insane. But, anyways, the story kind of follows along our main character Simon, who is a convict who did something and which causes him to go to jail. And he takes this deal that if he were to go on this exploration in the deep blood ocean and gets the stuff that they need or want, that he would gain his freedom and that he will be released. And it kind of starts with him in the submarine. He's in the submarine in the middle and the end. There's a moment, slight spoiler, where he does find something and he comes back up, and it's like he's like, I found whatever you want. I should give her freedom, right? And that's when it kind of like devolves. This isn't in the game. I believe like half an hour to 40 minutes into the movie, the submarine gets pulled up, and Ava, the captain, who is basically like the leader of this exploration, is like, we're going to send you back there. We want you to get some samples. We need you to get some samples. And then we're going to pull you up once you get the samples, and then you'll be free. So Mark goes back down there, and while that whole thing is like, he's like trying to be like, no, I want to be released, I want to be let go, like let me out, like, because who the hell wants to go all the way down there? And he takes a picture and he blasts one of the welders with radiation, because apparently it is an x-ray, because the blood is too dark and thick to take pictures of, so they have to take x-rays, which is insane. And if you read through the manuals of the books that is shown you, it tells you that if you use the x-rays too much, you will get a lot of radiation poisoning. Now, the movie, when it shows us the monster, it's really cool. The design is cool. There's a lot of things that I need to talk about this movie, because a lot of people were confused. You are stuck in that submarine the entire movie. You're not getting another scenery. You do get flashbacks, you do get like certain different scenes, but you're constantly in the sub and in the blood ocean, the ocean blood. So you're constantly there. And it's not like your typical horror movies with like jump scares and like um seeing the monster. There's none of that. It is a very much a slow burn thriller horror where it's psychologically torturing you because our main character is stuck in the submarine. So you're feeling a lot of isolation, loneliness, a lot of mental fortitude gets broken down. Your will to survive kind of breaks. You kind of start to feel panic because you're stuck somewhere that no one is able to help you out, no one is able to do anything for you, and you're left there alone in solitude. One thing that gives us reassurance in the beginning is that through the speakers, we're able to communicate with the people at the top. But after some point, that communication kind of severs. So you're left once again with loneliness and just Mark trying to figure out something. And you start to realize that the monster is like not dead, it's constantly moving. It reminds me of like an anglerfish where it uses light to bring you in, and it also looks like an anglerfish. So it's such a cool like design, and I love that because we don't get to see the movie. I love to have those types of monsters where you don't see them but you hear them, you feel their presence, because it's very heavy. I'm not someone who does well with horror. I've just recently started getting better at it where I can talk about it, where I can listen to it. And I think the biggest mistakes a lot of movies do is that they fully show you what their monsters look like, and a lot of those fears kind of dissipate. While in this case, because it's such a slow burn, because it's agonizing, you don't really get to see the monster. You feel the monster, you hear the monster, you see the skeleton from the x ray, but you don't completely see the monster. And it is the most horrifying feeling because it's overwhelming, and you're alone, there's no escape, there's no way for you to run, there's no way for you to kind of hide from it. So you're just there with the monster not knowing what's going on. So in the movie, you're following our main character Mark as he slowly starts to descend, and as he starts to kind of his mental fortitude of being free kind of breaks, and the trials and tribulations that he goes through and the pain that he goes through. And it's a very interesting, how would I say, like a very interesting plot, because I love slow burns like this because it really makes you dread what's happening. It really makes you scared for what's happening. It makes you feel very alone, scared, and vulnerable. I won't spoil the ending, but I will say the ending is not the same one as the game. So even if it feels like it's an unexpected pardon, if you think it's like an unexpected ending, in the game version you don't get much. Here you get more. There's also a lot of lore that is not in the main game but is in the movie, which I think is a plus. um I do have some complaints. Now, I'm Indian. I grew up watching Bollywood movies, and a lot of typical Bollywood movies tend to hit the 2 hour mark, 2.5 hour, 2 hours, 1 hour, and like 50 minutes. So I'm not somebody who's afraid of long cinemas because that's something that I've enjoyed. I feel like because we're stuck in this submarine for so long, for it to be 2 hours and 7 minutes, I think a little things could have been shortened. But if I play devil's advocate, it's supposed to show you the repetition and how slow progress is and how painful a lot of the stuff is. So I can see both sides. Also, I think a lot of people were complaining about how you couldn't hear the dialogue. I was able to hear the dialogue. Yes, there were certain parts where I couldn't hear, and I didn't know if it was because it was purposely distorted to prevent you from getting the full truth, or if it was just an audio thing. But I was able to hear a lot of it. I think it's just I wasn't able to hear it when it came to like certain scenes where they kind of wanted you to not hear the full thing, to not have the full contact. Um Anyways, I did really like the movie. I loved the visuals. I loved Mark's acting. Like it was decent. I loved the slow burn. I loved the added materials to the movie. And I honestly love this type of concept. It's a really cool concept, so to see it in a movie and to see it actually done properly, because of if we know anything about FNAF, ugh. Anyways, it's actually really amazing to see a YouTuber actually passionate about their project is just insane. Um, Markiplier is not the first YouTuber to make a movie. There have been other YouTubers who did that. Yes, granted, this is the first ever movie to be fully funded, acted, and everything by him. There have been a lot of YouTubers in movies, but I feel like a lot of YouTubers, when they do projects outside of YouTube, it's not filled with passion. It's just a simple money grab. So to see Mark actually be happy and actually want to do this project with his whole mind, body, and soul with love and care has been really refreshing to see. And I actually quite enjoy it. Not only that, but like I watched when he came out with all his sketches. I watched his Date with Markiplier, then Who Killed Markiplier, then Heist with Markiplier, and then In Space with Markiplier. So to see him go from there to like where he is today is really insane, and it's really great to see. Not only that, but like to have big major media companies try to crush you and being able to rise on top is always amazing to see. So yeah, this was a fun movie. If you're expecting like jump scares or stuff like that, you will be disappointed. Yes, there is some scary and some jump scare moments, but they're not like your typical horror film. It's very much a slow burn horror. It's like a psychological thriller almost, where you're seeing the descent of a man and his mind breaking, him fighting for his freedom, but always being away from his freedom. It's actually a really good watch. So if you guys want to go support him, I would suggest trying to find a local theater to watch it in. I remember back in December, like when he announced it, he I was checking the website and none of my local theaters had it. And then I think like 2 weeks later, my local theater had it. So I was super excited. I was going to email them to kind of like play this movie, but I didn't have to. So I'm just glad I was able to watch it in theaters. Overall, the movie was fun. It's a slow burn once again. So if you're expecting like big jump scares, a big monster reveal, and a huge boss fight, you're not really going to get it. It's really a lot of just being with Mark's character and facing that damnation and that will. Anyways, that's it for my review. I hope it's good enough. I don't know. It is what it is. Anyways, that's it. Live, laugh, love, enjoy. Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girlboss. Kiss your homies goodnight, and please pray for me as I still do not know how to edit videos. No, not edit videos. I don't know how to end one. God, I suck. Please.